stuff going on with this. Bear with me one moment. Wow. Please forgive me. I'll get out of it. Right. All right. Let's get down to Genesis, the 25th chapter. Genesis, the 25th chapter. And pick this up at verse 21.
And Esau entreated Yahuwah for his wife, because she was barren. And Yahuwah was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and he took his hand and took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Esau was 80 years old when she bare him.
So here there is a difference between Esau, the son, and Isaac.
And Esau was red.
Right, he was given a physical color difference. Damn. This is not very good for me, y'all. You know, like 10 is less than nothing. It's so easy. I'm like, I learned today. But anyway, so the point is that during this time, we find out that Shem had brethren, and they built a nation, and Ham built a nation. But Japheth, according to what we read in the scriptures, did not really build a nation at this time, if that makes sense.
They were coastline people.
Huh?
They were just chilling out by the sides of the,
Right,
the water.
Right. Okay.
The Greeks, the Romans, so forth.
Yeah,
Europeans.
because it's interesting, because I've had like friends that, I have a friend, her and her brother, they were twins, and they was reddish, they had like reddish brown hair, reddish like coloring,
Mhm.
they were melanated people, but they the reddish tones.
Right.
We always call people who were born like that, people always call them red, as a nickname, or like that actor Red Man, because they came out like a reddish coloring in
Okay.
their skin, a more prominent reddish color.
Okay. Man, I can't believe I'm getting out of it, y'all. I'm sorry.
Maybe it's the cold water.
Huh?
It's the cold water. Your voice is cracking. No, the one under it.
Okay.
That one. That one. Your voice is cracking too.
Is it?
You've been working hard, buddy. I know. You've been studying and excited for today. And it's just
Yes, I have been.
you got this.
Hold on 1 second.
Israel, a black nation.
Right. So let's go to Genesis, the 49th chapter. Genesis, the 49th chapter. And let's pick this up at verse 1.
And Jacob called unto his son, and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Yasharel your father. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it.
Mm.
He went up to my couch. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly. Be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they did down the wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Yasharel. Yahudah, thou art him whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemy. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Yahudah is a lion's whelp from the prey, my son. Thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as the old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Yahudah, not nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
Okay, so, man, can't believe I'm out of it, y'all.
Wait for that sip of water, Og.
Okay, hold on
Thank
one
you.
second.
Thank you.
Okay. Man, so the point is that when we read about the Shemitic nations and the Hamitic nations, there was no interaction between them and the Japhetic nations.
Right.
For a long time. They were like out of it for a long time until way into what period of time that was. Way into the time that the Babylon became a nation.
Okay, right.
Okay,
Yep.
so Israel never had any interaction with Japhetic nations. That's what I was getting to. They didn't have any interaction with Japhetic nations.
Which is, isn't there a verse that talks about people that they've never seen or?
Right, and that's in Deuteronomy. Right, that's in Deuteronomy. Okay, but one moment. So that was Genesis 49. Then Exodus, the second chapter. Okay, so in terms of appearance, the Japhetic people were a darker hued people.
Right, and actually going down a couple more verses in 49, we stopped where at 10. So to get down to 12 gives that description.
At what verse?
12.
12. Right. Okay. But yeah, absolutely. So the Japhetic people were basically light skinned or white for lack of a better term. The Hamitic people were black people, dark people,
Right.
and the Shemitic people were also dark as well. They had a lot of interactions with each other, but for some reason, it would be a long time before Japhet would have any interaction with Shem and Ham. Okay. Bear with me one moment. Let's go into Exodus, the second chapter. Exodus, the second chapter. Okay. So here, let me see. I'm missing some stuff here. That's the second chapter. Exodus, the second chapter. Let's pick this up at the 19th verse. No, let me go up a little bit. So here was when Shemaiah had left and he escaped into Midian, right? So he escaped to Midian, and what he ended up doing was saving the daughters of Midian from an attack. Pick this up at Exodus, second chapter, and verse 1.
And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took to wife a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could no longer hide him, she took him for an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with the slime and with the pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's bank. And his sister stood afar off to wit that would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the river's side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him, and said, This is one of the Hebrews' children.
Mm-hmm.
Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, Shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may be nursed a child for thee? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, Take this child away, and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son.
Right. So it was a long time, well over a year, before this child would have a name. But he was born already with a name, as we read in the book of Jasher. And that name is Shemaiah. That was the name that he had, that he was born in the beginning. But the Egyptian adopted mother, she went and named him Moses, right, which was a name based off of a ruling party in Egypt, in Mizraim. Okay?
Yes.
So let me see. Hold on 1 second. Man, I cannot believe I'm out of it. It's really weird. I thought I was good there. Let me see. Where was that? That's the second chapter. Okay.
You want to sit down and
Say it again.
I said I didn't know if you want to sit down and give it.
Yeah, let me try that. It's the first time I did this, but this might be good. So go to Exodus, the 4th chapter. Exodus, the 4th chapter. Pick it up at verse 1.
4th chapter.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Exodus, the 4th chapter, And verse 1. Oh, man.
Verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And Shemaiah answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say that Yahuwah had not appeared unto thee. And Yahuwah said unto him, What is that in thy hand? And he said, A rod. And he said, Cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Shemaiah fled from before him. And Yahuwah said unto Shemaiah, Put forth thy hand, and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that Yahuwah Elohim of their fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob, had appeared unto thee. And Yahuwah said furthermore unto him, Put now thy hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was as leprous as snow. And he said, Put thy hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe thee, neither hearken unto the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign.
Right, because the voice of the latter sign was much more powerful than the voice of the second sign, or the first sign rather, which was turning the rod into serpents, right? Okay, but that's what he did. He put his hand into his bosom, and it came out white, which is a color not distinguished to Egyptians.
Oh, make that make sense.
Right. Not
Not what we see in the movies.
Right.
Oh,
Right. Not what we see
not
in
the
the movies
pictures.
at all. Right. Right. So
Oh,
he,
how does that work?
Exactly. But the thing was that his so the thing is that when you look up Hamitic and Japhetic people, they were always a darker hued people, and as opposed to Japhet, which when you think about who they became, the Greeks and English and Romans and all of them, they were lighter skinned people.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Man, I'm gonna be real short with this. Let's go into the book of Numbers, the 12th chapter.
Numbers what? I'm sorry.
12. And when you get there, pick this up at the first verse.
And Miriam and Aharon spake against Shemaiah because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman.
Right. He had married an Ethiopian woman, which was actually his first wife. When you read the history. And his second wife was Zipporah. So he was married to the Ethiopian before he was married to Zipporah.
Adoniah.
Right, that's what the Ethiopian woman name was. Her name was Adoniah. Go ahead.
And they said, Have Yahuwah indeed spoken only by Shemaiah? Has he not spoken also by us? And Yahuwah heard it. Now the man Shemaiah was very meek above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. And Yahuwah spake suddenly unto Shemaiah and unto Aharon and unto Miriam, Come out, ye three, unto the tabernacle of the congregation.
So Shemaiah's oldest sister, Miriam, was upset with him because he had married an Ethiopian woman. Because for some reason she thought that that was not lawful for him to do. And they brought up an occasion against Shemaiah because of that. But scripturally speaking, according to the law, there is nothing unrighteous about having an Ethiopian woman. That was just something that they were dealing with, that they were like upset about. Okay, so go ahead.
And Yahuwah came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aharon and Miriam. And they both came forth. And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, Yahuwah, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. But my servant Shemaiah is not so, who is faithful in all my house. With him I will speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches.
So the father was putting a difference, showing that there was nothing wrong with what Shemaiah did in terms of marrying an Ethiopian woman, but his brother and sister was upset with him because that's what he had taken, but they were feeling outside of the will of the Most High with that. Okay, so where we at? Oh, okay, go ahead, keep reading.
But then and Aharon looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous.
Okay, so the father cursed Miriam because of the attitude that she had. And the thing was that she cursed her, making her an entirely different color than the Ethiopian woman that Shemaiah married, if that makes sense. So they were upset because she's Ethiopian, but the father turned Miriam.
Well, they shouldn't have been talking smack about Shemaiah around the corner.
Exactly. That's what happens.
Let's keep it
exactly,
real.
Right.
Around the corner.
Right.
That's what they were doing. Shame on you. He called them out, and she turned
Right.
white, but she
Right.
wasn't already white.
Right. See, that's the point. That if she was any color contrary to darkness, then it would have made sense for the father to curse her, making her the same color as the like a Gentile woman, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah, it would have made a big impact.
Right.
To where, it would have been being shameful amongst the congregation.
Exactly.
Didn't they leave that out of the
punishment?
The Ten Commandments movie?
Right. That's a good point there. They totally took that out of any of those Ten Commandment movies. But the point is that the Ethiopian woman had to be the same color as the Israelite women. Okay? I apologize, y'all. I'm missing a whole lot because I didn't think I would be out of it. But anyway, let's go into Acts the 21st chapter.
I'm gonna have to start it over. I keep messing up.
It's messing up. Yeah, it's
Don't even want.
I'm messing up too. It's all good.
Don't worry.
Acts, Acts the 21st chapter.
It might be telling you something.
Yeah, maybe saying it's maybe not a good time to put it on.